Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is an action movie review and I'll be having a look at the movie Ninja Shadow of a Tear, also known as Ninja 2. So this is a Scott Adkins movie and it's actually a sequel to a film simply called Ninja. But you can kind of watch it as a sort of completely standalone piece, because you don't really need to have seen the first movie, aside from the fact that Scott Adkins is essentially a guy called Casey, and he's the kind of the sensei, or the kind of the master of this particular sort of dojo within Japan, and that kind of explained the first film. But other than that, really, you don't really need to know anything, because it doesn't really tie into the first film in any kind of story-wise. And essentially the plot here is really just a kind of revenge film, really, where we have Casey's wife is essentially murdered, and she's sort of with child, and he's a kind of after the sort of killers, and sort of uncovers a kind of almost like a plot kind of leading to sort of different culprits behind it, and it gets bigger and bigger as it kind of goes along, leading him from Japan to Thailand to Burma. Now that's kind of all I'll say on the plots. Negative things first. So the major issue I have with this movie is the script. So the script is really just a B-level script. There's kind of, it's a very kind of typical sort of revenge story, if you know what I mean. It's kind of, it kind of follows some sort of very sort of basic tropes. It reminds me a lot of a movie sort of back when I was a young whippersnapper called No Retreat, No Surrender 2. It kind of is a similar movie to that in a lot of ways, but it feels kind of very B-movie. And one of the things what I kind of like mean by that is, for example, if you look at the without sort of saying too much, if you look at the kind of the bad guys' motivations, they're really flimsy. I mean, this would have been fine in the kind of films of the 80s, I would say. This is kind of the bad guy motivations you would expect in the films of back then. But this day and age, I think people are a bit more savvy and kind of require a little bit more than that. And just kind of some of the dialogue, you know, it's a little bit cheesy. The last of the scene of the film, really, in particular, if you just kind of look at that, it's just a little bit cheesy. There's quite a few coincidences as well that kind of happen within the film, and areas of convenience, shall we say. So the script is the only real issue I have with this movie. Because other than that, it's actually a very, very good action film. In fact, the actual direction of this movie is very, very good. If you're a martial arts fan, I think the fight scenes are absolutely fantastic in this movie. And I have to sort of you know, tip my hat to kind of Scott Adkins and the actors and the stuntmen who really sort of, you know, did a fantastic job in this movie. But also the director, who's got some really fantastic shots, lots of sort of long shots where there's kind of sort of continuous action and kind of choreography with, you know, that sort of cutting and that stuff. It really does look at these, you know, you don't have this kind of shaky cam. You know, the camera's kind of pulled out quite nicely, so you can kind of get a good, you know, good view of the action. So the actual fight sequences, if that's what you're kind of looking for, you know, really love this movie, I have to say. If you're kind of looking for a bit of a deeper story, you're not going to find it here. That is the main problem with this film. It's really just a kind of flimsy plot, ultimately, just to kind of have these kind of like fight scenes, ultimately, which admittedly are very good. In regards to the acting, I think Scott Adkins is actually kind of improving as an actor. You know, he's kind of getting a few more roles. You know, he does a decent enough job for this kind of movie. Obviously, he's not quite Oscar worthy yet, shall we say, but nevertheless, I think for this kind of movie, no problems with the acting. Yes, some of the kind of Asian actors maybe kind of chew the scenery a little bit. There's this drug dealer kind of bad guy who you'll kind of see in the movie. He kind of really is overacting a little bit, but you know, he's not even on screen all that much, so you know, it's not that much of a big deal. So overall, I really enjoyed the film. I think it's a well-made film. You know, it's well acted. You know, for this kind of level of film, the fight scenes are fantastic. It's you know, it's a well shot film. Just the script is kind of the issue, and this is really what separates this movie from a kind of a B movie to really kind of any type of sort of, you know, cinema worthy action film that you would see. Just a quick sort of side note. I will say this. It plays more like a kind of just a martial arts film rather than a sort of ninja film, if that makes sense. You won't really see much in the way of actual ninjas. Scott Adkins wears kind of the ninja costume for probably about 5-10 minutes in the film, and that's pretty much it. And he's kind of the only one So there you go. That didn't really bother me, but I know it may bother some people. I'm going to give this movie a 7 out of 10. It's definitely worth watching if you're a fan of martial arts or if you're a fan of Scott Adkins. Yeah, fantastic action. So just a bit of shame the script wasn't fantastic. What did you think of it? Leave me a comment. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.